Hello and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast, episode number 366. The next
year time.
Well, I was going to say it's like 300 doors down from the beast or something. The sort of across the road from the beast.
Okay.
But
Beast can see you somehow if he moves his neck curtains ever so slightly.
Exactly. If he goes out on a porch and look down the road a bit, the beast can see me. There you go.
He has to get the paper in the morning.
Yeah, as he goes on the way to work on the bus, he'll go past.
Doffs his cap to you.
Yeah. After 200, 300 like, you know, offices, he gets there, 300 doors, and he goes, oh, there it is, 366 instead of 6. See, almost home. Anyway, hello. Welcome to episode number 366. I'm Lee.
I'm not Darren.
Still.
Yeah, I'm still not Jim.
There you go. A gag which comes on from the Patreon episode, which we've just recorded. But you know what? It's so good we did it twice. Yes, this week Darren is away, so we are flying Darrenless. Though, if you like, we can have some random snoring or the sound of a lamp turning on and off, or perhaps a broom. We've got a broom with a hat on.
Is there a traffic light anywhere?
I've got a cone. What can we do with a cone? We can replace a barnard with a cone. I might just draw a face on the window. Maybe out of I don't know, felt tip pens, since that seems to be all that I've got in this house.
Should we all draw our own Darren?
Yeah, and then put it on the Facebook group. Yeah. That's it. Do while we're doing this podcast today, we shall do our own Darren, and then we can
challenge accepted.
3 Darrens need to be done by the end of this podcast, and the best one will turn up for the next podcast, or we might just replace it with the actual Darren. But we'll see. Actually, this pen could double as Darren, actually. Anyway, so yes, hello, welcome to 366. This week we will see how everyone's week's been, and then we will get on and review the last of our Matthew Broderick mini-season that sort of randomly sprung up, which will be the 1998 Godzilla movie. Going deeper underground indeed. But before we do that, we'll see how everyone's week's been. And then we'll move on. So let's start with you, Jim. How has your week on the dark side of the sun been?
Hot. Damn hot.
It's hotter than a snake's ass in a wagon rut.
Yeah, we did have a cracking thunderstorm at the end of last week, where I kind of we were upstairs. I was reading in bed, looked out the window. Oh, it's starting to rain. Because really later looked out, thought that's funny. I can't see anything out of the window anymore. It's just a curtain of rain, literally. Yeah. And looked out the front, and the entire street had flooded. Now, where we are, we're kind of at the bottom of 2 hills, and the drains can get overwhelmed, and it has flooded before. This time it's flooded like I have not really kind of, okay, it's actually inside my little front garden and at the bottom of the steps of my house. It's never been that high before.
Oh, my God.
I had there's a little cafe just a couple of doors down. They actually got flooded out. Thankfully, Teresa had parked her car somewhere different, and so it wasn't actually on the front where it would have been under several foot of water, so that was good. But I was amused because I was watching people kind of at the front street. You could see people sort of at either ends of the road, sort of the cars pulling up, then sort of stopping, then sort of going, shall I go for it or not? And some people went for it, and other people just like, you know what, I'm just going to reverse back.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't see sort of like Russell Crowe and a boat full of animals sailing past your window, did you?
I was beginning to wonder. I was beginning to think, well, how big's a cubit? Should I get sewing? Kind of. Nice. It was kind of like, that's quite a lot. It did all, once the rain eased off, after about 10, 15 minutes of really ridiculously torrential rain, stuff I've not seen outside of the tropics.
Oh, God.
It all drained away again, but like, bloody hell, that was a bit kind of, whoa, that's getting a bit close now.
Nice.
Other than that, our baby fish are thriving in a separate little tank, so they're safe from being eaten by the other greedy bastards in there.
I thought you were going to say they're thriving in the street, swimming past the window.
Well, if it hadn't drained away, that was an alternative.
Nice. Anyway, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
But the other thing is, I had a rather unwelcome discovery. I went to put a post on Instagram, and I kind of noticed there's a post from some absolute vacuous twat. I thought, I don't follow them, and I thought I'd seen a couple of them in the previous week, and I assumed Instagram, as well as fairly recently, they induced an algorithm, so it doesn't show you the posts from people you follow chronologically.
Right.
Did that a few months ago.
Yeah.
Essentially, really kind of ruined it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, now they're doing these sort of sponsored posts where they're inserting things from people you don't follow because they coughed up a chunk of wonga. And then I happened to glance at my number of people I was following.
Right.
And I was following about under 200 people.
Right.
I was now following 3,050, 500 odd people.
Oh, shit.
I mean, literally, like, you know, I gained 3,300 extra people I was following without me adding them.
Wow. Okay.
So I looked online and I found this has happened in the last couple of months to other people who have suddenly found they've gained they're following thousands of people they hadn't followed.
Wow.
And the standard sort of help answer on the Instagram forums is going, oh, well, you know, if you've authorized a third-party app to Instagram, that might have done it.
Oh.
And it's kind of, really?
Yeah.
Because that's funny, because I've never, and I did check, never authorized a third-party app to use my Instagram, and neither do other people complaining about it. And so, but the worst thing is, though, you can't actually, there's no easy way to delete them, to stop following these people, other than one by one, and then you can only do so many an hour.
Oh, for God's
sake. To
sakes.
stop bots, where we're quite clearly, I think, you know, so the whole thing, I just pulled the plug on it because that seemed the only thing to do. Is Instagram clearly have been hacked.
Yeah.
And there is rogue software on the system that is adding followers to your account in vast numbers.
Jesus.
Without your permission.
Right.
And they're not coughing at all to it.
Oh,
So
son of a bitch.
I know. So I was not best pleased, shall we say. So, you know,
No.
if you're on Instagram, if you see an odd post, just have a look, see how many people you're following, because you might get an unpleasant surprise like I did.
Yeah, I was going to say, unsurprisingly, I'm looking at it right now. I've still got 160 followers. I've got people who just randomly stumble over one or two of my pictures, and that's about it. Really.
Well, this wasn't people following me. This was people I was supposedly following.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, then in which case it's even lower.
Which is, you know, kind of that's a real problem. I think, you know, kind of that shouldn't be happening.
Oh,
but
wow.
so apparently Instagram aren't coughing to it. So
No, they won't until someone loses like some private photo again, and then it will be like, oh, you know. Oh shit! So have you restarted Hypnagoria? Or?
I did today. I thought because it's kind of. I seem to be getting good engagement from the post, shall we say?
Yeah.
And I was reaching people I wasn't reaching on Facebook or Twitter, so it's kind of, I'm going to have to go back. But it's kind of, I mean, I just really use it as kind of a personal photo album, really.
Yeah.
You know, a separate one from Facebook or whatnot. And but you know, so I was a bit, shall we cheat? I was really angry though for several days, kind of, especially as the kind of the non-aware sort of, you know, coughing to there being a problem and just giving me people these patronising answers. And
yeah, that's
No. Come on. Because really there's that much money tied up in Instagram and Instagram influencers.
Yeah.
I predict, just as Facebook is having to do a lot of soul searching and do cleaning of that, just as Twitter has to have now periodic bot purges.
Yep.
I think Instagram, you're next, and you'll be in the headlines.
Yeah.
And a lot of these Facebook influencers can you find that you have no revenue because there's no one real following them.
Yeah, that's right. It's just everything's just going to vanish one day, and that'll be the end of it. Yeah, a bit like YouTube is the other one that's doing that now, where it's starting to algorithm is starting to drive you in, you towards things that you used to subscribe to. Now they sort of don't bother. They just send you to the one which is most popular with the most popular hits. So a channel that you might have been following for years, now all of a sudden you can only see the one that was posted in September last year or something. It's just bizarre. Anyway, so you're back on now. Is it still just Hypnagoria, or is it a different thing?
No, because I can't use that name even though I deleted the account.
Oh, right.
That name is now just locked in
forever.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Suppose in case if I wanted to reactivate the account, but why would I? Because I know kind of from reading the search on people had disabled their account to try and get rid of these things and couldn't, and reactivated them and found they're still all there, and just all you can do is just delete it, really. Yeah. Unless you want to sit for weeks, literally.
Ugh.
But then, if your account's compromised and no one's going to do anything, why delete them when one day you wake up and find there's another 2,000 fuckers?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, you'll be back to square one in about 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But it's one of those things, it does sort of, it annoys me. It's kind of, this whole, so much of the problems with social media, if they ditch the algorithms, they will go away.
Yes.
Because the algorithms make it possible to be exploited by bastards, basically.
Yeah. So for the listeners, what is your new Instagram?
Now it's Hypnagoria_presents.
Hypnagoria_presents. That's quite cool. I think it's quite a nice one. Yeah. Good stuff.
So,
okay. Instagram hacking, eh? Well, there you go. That's a new one.
What? Public service announcements, folks.
Yeah. What I don't
keep an eye on.
What I don't quite get though is what do they gain out of getting you to hook up to hundreds of followers, or is it?
Well, the thing is if I'm suddenly that they'd made my account rather follow these 3,000 plus chuckleheads. Now most of those are probably fake accounts anyway. Either that or there's far more twats out there than I ever imagined from looking at them, frankly.
Yeah.
Vacuous, vapid tossers who humanity would be better off without.
Nice.
Was my good opinion from looking at a few of these things. Fuck off. Vapid twats.
Nice.
But the point is that they're, obviously, if they're doing this, and obviously this isn't an isolated case, it's been doing it on an industrial scale.
Yeah.
It's boosting follower counts for these particular accounts, which gives them more clout and they can be an influencer and get money. It's essentially like the Instagram equivalent of generating fake clicks by hijacking your account and making you follow all these other twattish accounts so they get their numbers up and they look more important.
Yeah, I got it. I understand.
Paid followers,
yeah. And you do see that a lot on Instagram with, like, follow me and I'll get you 10,000 followers kind of thing. So I guess that's what that is it?
That's how they do it.
Nice. Okay.
So, yeah.
Lovely. Okay, well, fair enough. So, anything else, sir?
I'll leave that there,
okay.
I think.
Fair enough, that's it.
Public service announcement.
That's right. Educate, inform, entertain, isn't it? Reithian ideology. Right, okay. Well, then, over to you then, Elton. What about you, sir? How's your week been?
Okay. Well, the drama of the fence is now over.
Oh, right.
Glad to know.
Yeah. Go on.
Flipping out. That's 2 weekends I'll never, ever get back. For my whole entire life.
Right.
I've put together next door's fence. It's better than what it was when the twat around the village, who I still don't know who it was, decided to rip it up and destroy it.
But aren't you all family in that village? Isn't it all just one Isn't it all just one big family in that village?
Yeah, it's all just one big circle jerk, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah. We
all just bum each other. Whenever I want to go down to the shops, I just have to shuffle along the person in front of me who I'm bumming, and then he goes into the shop, and then she goes into the shop, and then someone's bumming me, and they want to go into the shop as well. So that's how it works, I think. Yeah.
There you go. Just conveyor belt. That's it. Well, at least I know. I mean, I was just thought small village. Just ask. But I didn't know you were going to get shirty about it. Huh?
You've hit the nail on the head. Well done, you.
So said the person behind you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh dear.
Yes. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
I haven't found this twat that lives in the village, but clearly I'll be bumming him at some point.
Well, clearly, yeah. You'll get round there eventually.
Oh yeah, he'll know.
He'll know.
And it's all back together, better than what it was. Next Door came out and saw me working on it and stroked their chins and yes, you have done a marvelous job. And I kept dropping the hint. I've dropped quite a lot of money on this. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't your fault, but somehow I've got roped into doing it, and you got a better fence at the end of the day. And so they gladly, thank God, because I can't afford it, they came up and offered me half for the fence, which I gladly accepted, and that's it. The matter is over. It is done.
Yeah, well, I mean, they are subscribers. We know that now. Well, I've looked on the map. They are definitely subscribers to the podcast.
Good. Well, they can leave a review on iTunes, then, can't they?
Not after flogging out for a fence. I don't want that.
But yeah, it's thank goodness that's all over. And what else was there? Oh, I saw a film this week.
Yes.
Have you heard of the film from 2014 called Predestination?
Is that with Ethan Hawke?
It's Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook, I think it is.
Sarah Snook.
Snook.
Okay, hold on. Predestination. Okay.
It's one of my favourite genres.
Oh, it's a time travel thing, is it?
It is time travel, yeah.
Hey, yeah. We got to have an Elton's time travel season.
Yeah,
definitely.
That would be good. Sarah Snook. Oh yeah, I know Sarah Snook. I'm looking at her right now.
I can't remember what she's from, though.
Because she's in my house. No, I mean... she's standing right here. Say hello, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. And, see? Right there. Anyway, sorry,
Jesus
carry on.
Well, okay. Yeah. Everyone go see this because this is brilliant. I loved it. It got me. And I think normally with time travel movies, you'll watch them and go, oh, do you know what? That was really good. Or that was utter bobbins. But then the next time around, you'll get something more from it. You're guaranteed to get a better response the second time around, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you suddenly see all the clues and everything coming, yeah?
Yeah, but that happens on a lot of films anyway. But time travel movies, you definitely have that because you're kind of invested in the first time round and you remember your joy at the first time round. So, yeah, this was I can't give away anything about the time travel or anything like that because then that kind of ruins the movie. So
yeah,
I'll just guide everyone towards that film, Predestination.
Right. Okay. Well, then don't say anything. But cool.
Well, the problem with time travel movies is if I turn around and say something about the time travel, then you can easily work out everything from that.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Because there's only a couple of ways of doing the time travel. And so I won't mention that because then you'll grasp hold of it. So I will leave that.
Okay, fair enough. what was going to say? Right, okay. So just while we're here, I mean, what would be your time travel season if we were going to pick 4 time travel movies? What would you put for us to watch?
Oh man! Oh,
so we'll accept Predestination is already one to do. So go on.
Oh, okay. Well, Primer has to be there because that's the greatest movie ever.
Okay, Primer, aka
Primer has to be there.
AKA sponsored by Tyrac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sony Walkmans as well.
Sony Walkmans and Tyrac. Yep, go on.
Yeah. Oh, what else would there be? Gee, you've really got me on the spot now. I suppose tomorrow I will wake up and scald myself with tea.
Oh my God, that thing again.
Yeah, why not?
I never even heard of it. Yeah, I've only heard it twice. And
It's the greatest title of any movie ever anyway.
Both times were you saying it right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus. Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, one more. Go on in.
That's kind of 3, isn't it? Oh, God.
Go on, one more.
Oh, see, the thing is, though, you need to get different types of time travel. So I'll have to think about the 4th one, I feel. Because if you're doing the same type of time travel, it'll get very boring.
Okay. So, yeah.
Because you could have the loop one where everything is just a loop and you can see what's going on in the loop and you're at different stages. Oh, saying that, Time Crimes.
Time Crimes. Oh, that's the guy. That's the Spanish one with the guy with a bag on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Cool.
It's a good season, that is, I think.
Yeah, that's quite and you didn't go to a single Terminator movie.
Have you covered them?
The Terminator ones?
Yeah.
With
done
vitriol frequently.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, we did the first 3. I remember that. I don't think we've done the 4th or the 5th.
Oh God.
So yeah, make of that what you will.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you want to do the other 2, then you're more than welcome to start your own podcast.
Yeah, I will. I've actually been thinking about getting Jacob into the Terminator. I'm only going to show him Terminator and Terminator 2, but as far as I'm aware, he doesn't know anything about them. So it could be one of the very first times that someone goes into Terminator 2. Think when you see Arnie, you think, "Oh, hang on,
yeah,
that's the bad dude."
Yeah, that's right.
Because he hasn't had that hype, he hasn't seen all the adverts for it or anything like that, and that I think that's what everyone kind of missed when they saw Terminator 2, because it was all in the trailers, wasn't it? And every single TV station, all 4 of them, had like little preloaded things where they would talk about the film and to the actors as well, and you'd see little snippets, and you could work out that Arnie's the good guy this time. So if I get Jacob to watch Terminator and then Terminator 2,
nice,
he might go into it, hopefully go into it thinking, "Oh, that's the bad guy," and the copper is the good guy looking for him.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Okay, we'll report back on that one then.
I will. I will try and do that very soon.
Cool.
So, yeah, that was my week.
Oh, that was it, was it? Right, okay. Well, I won't go to Darren because basically, as far as we're concerned, he's basically having inappropriate moments on a beach somewhere, probably.
Whereabouts is he gone? Do we know?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know.
Thailand again?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's maybe I don't really want to suggest anything because, well, we know we've only just come away from a newscast where we're talking about like how stories come back to haunt you. And get people fired.
Well, he shouldn't have gone to Vietnam then, should he?
Well, frankly, North Korea was a mistake in my opinion. But it's not the right place to go, and then stopping off at the sort of like the patina sort of bars in sort of like South Korea is probably not a good idea either. But because you just don't do it. No,
we're talking about this, but he's probably sat in some tent just going, I'm cold.
Everyone's left him. He fell asleep on the Monday, and he's just woken up now. It's like everyone's gone out.
Hello.
So lonely, I'm so lonely. Anyway, yeah. So moving on from him, my week's been pretty boring, to be honest. But yeah, I've just not been doing an awful lot. But I did go and see yesterday. I went to see The Incredibles 2, and I have to say I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Do you just remind me again? Did you guys like The Incredibles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay, well, this is a brilliant sequel. It's one of those sequels where it just literally picks up from the moment the other one ends, and just literally from where the other one ends, and just
the Underminers.
Yep, there he is.
Okay, cool.
He comes out in the middle of the car park. And that's where the film starts. And, I won't spoil it for you because there's a lot of stuff going on. But they've really kind of cashed in on Jack's superpowers for maximum slapstick. Because from the first one, no one actually saw Jack do all these things when he suddenly changed and transformed and beat Syndrome up and then dropped to Earth. They never saw any of that. They just saw the plane explode. So they don't actually know what he can do. So the whole thing of his emerging powers is kind of a bit of a running gag throughout the whole film.
Well, the only person that did know anything about it was the babysitter.
Yeah. She doesn't reoccur in this. I will say that, but
right.
But the whole thing with Jack and what he can and can't do, it's just one of those superhero waz fests where 1 minute you can do one thing, next minute you can do another. It's just like everyone just clearly sat around the table and went, "Well, he's got no rules. Let's just have him do this. Let's just have him do that." And then it's really funny stuff. But also the actual, like the first one, the action and the actual storyline. Really well done, and it doesn't. I mean, the finale is a bit lame by comparison. That's not, but when the rest of it's so good, you can forgive it for having what is essentially a generic punch up at the end. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was superb. It's one of my films of the year, to be honest. I just came out of it like I want to go see it again. So good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So there you go.
Because I know my daughter wants to go see it. I wouldn't mind going to see it. I wouldn't go on my own, but at least I've got an excuse with my daughter to go see it.
Yeah.
But what about Samuel? Does he appear in it much?
He does, and he gets, and this is giving nothing away, but he does get a really, pardon the pun, cool action sequence. It's so he gets to sort of like show off his powers in new and interesting ways multiple times, and it's really smart. I was dead impressed. Because I kind of had this kind of sinking feeling that we'd go into it, and it just like by the end of it, it'd be like, it wasn't worth 12 years of wait, but actually, I think it was. I think it was really good. So I was dead impressed with it.
With these Pixar movies, it does seem that they know where their real good films are. They know that where their Toy Stories are. They know where their Incredibles are, and they know how to deal with it. But on the same subject, they also know where their Cars are.
Well, not for much longer, because old John Grabby Hands Lasseter. I mean, I thought Disney had given him the heave ho, and Cars was his pet project.
Well, Cars, the first Cars wasn't too bad, but it was there to sell toy cars, and they kind of know where that is. That's kind of scraping the barrel. And if they churned out 3 of them, I think, and then you got planes off of that as well. So it is just for kids to go there and then to buy the toys on the way out. But then they have the Toy Story. Okay, right, guys, we really have to do this well. And they did it right in Toy Story 2. And then, this massive gap until Toy Story 3 when that came out. And it was, look, guys, we can't screw this up. We need to get this right. So we need to spend some time on this. And that's the way I feel that they do it. And hopefully that's what they're going to do with Incredibles 2 as well.
Yeah, well, it is. It is Toy Story 3 levels of they stick the landing. They did exactly what they needed to do. So I was dead impressed. I thought it was just superb. Absolutely superb. What else? I mean, I really haven't got anything else to add. So, I mean, it's just been so fucking hot. I've just been boiling alive. It's just, that is it. I mean, I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm undersharing here by saying that I'm just sitting here in my pants and a t-shirt. I mean, it is a bit sticky on the old leather seats. I've misjudged the viscosity and heat retention of the seat, but you know what? I keep adjusting this big bag of soup in between my legs because that's what it feels like at the moment. It's just like I say, we're never working for Disney. We are just going to get fired. That'll be it. We'll walk in, and then like 6 years later, we'll get like, "Hey, you said something about soupy pants." Yeah, and sticking your ass to a leatherette chair, and that'll be it.
Sit there and go, "Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, right. I know where the door is. Ta-da."
Yeah, I'll be out. I noticed Jim's keeping his Disney options open. He's not saying anything.
Hang on, turn on the camcorders. There he is, wearing the hat.
Oh, not that hat. Not the overtly racist hat.
The pointy one.
The pointy one. The pointy one made from bed sheets. The worst thing is you just don't know now. It's going to get taken out of context. Everyone's actually going to take it seriously. It's not serious. We're joking. You fucking funny, humorless bastards.
Yeah, it's going back into the news again.
It is going back into news, but it really does knock me right fuck off. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. That's the state of my entire week. But I will say this: next week, the whole cast will be off because I will be going off on my week away. I'm going down to the caravan and I'm just going to hide from the whole of the human race for a week. So, the cast is off next week. So there you go. Just so you know. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Parish notice. So everyone gets...
That's all right, because next Tuesday is my birthday, so I can get hammered next Tuesday night.
Nice.
Hey!
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, because yours the first Tuesday, and I'm always the same. I'm always 1 week later. Yes.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
Cool. So we'll be back for the Patreon thing, and I'll be unable to do anything, because I'll be, on my birthday. Hooray! Cool. Okay. Well, anyway, that's future us problems. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Bigger problems right now is this week's movie, which we're about to review.
Nice. It's a big problem.
Big problem.
20 stories high.
Yes.
Not breathing fire. His head not in the sky.
Godzuki, the fish chomper. Oh God! Roll the jingle.
From the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, his head in the sky. Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla,
Okay, so Godzilla 1998. Well, I will be honest with you, the Wikipedia is longer than the fucking film. Alright, because Godzilla fans clearly are rivaling Transformers and Star Trek fans for no tiny detail overlooked Wikipedia page. Good. For the sum up, it's a 1998 American monster film directed and co-written by Roland Emmerich. The film is a reimagining, quotes unquote, of Toho's Godzilla franchise, and is the 23rd film and the first in the franchise and the first Godzilla film to be completely produced by a Hollywood studio. The film stars Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, Maria Patillo, Hangazara, Kevin Dunn, Michael Lerner, and Harry Shearer. The film is dedicated to Tommy Yuki.
Tom O'Connor.
Yeah, Tom O'Connor. Basically the co-creator of various Godzilla films, who died in 1997 before this abomination came out and basically made him spin in his grave. Godzilla was released on the 20th of May 1998 to negative reviews, but still was a box office success. It had a budget of about $150 million estimated, and earned what, Jim, in the cinema?
120 million.
Okay, and Elton?
200 million?
Try 379 million.
Strength.
Yeah, exactly. Was it? It was considered a box office disappointment, however, and so planned sequels were cancelled and an animated series was produced instead. In 2004, Toho began trademarking new iterations of TriStar's Godzilla, this one, as simply Zilla, with only the incarnations from the 1998 film carrying that particular name and trademark. Rather interestingly, though, if you head on over to the Godzilla wiki, because Godzilla itself has its own wiki, the 1988 film, has a number of different names for the creature that features in this version, and I'll read you out a few. There's American Godzilla, The Creature, Dinosaur, Lost Dinosaur, That Goddamn Thing, Virgin Lizard, and my Hollywood Godzilla, TriStar Godzilla, Zilla USA, and my personal favourite, Ogino. As in Ogino.
Did you say Virginzilla?
Virgin, as in virgin, as in...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ogino, which is basically Godzilla in name only.
Yep.
There you go.
That's my preferred appellation for this.
Status 1998, dead. There you go. I won't go into too much of that. It was designed by Patrick Tatopoulos, hence the gag throughout the entire film about how Nico Tatopoulos spells his name or says his name. But it is also should be noticed that Patrick Tatopoulos also designed the creatures from Independence Day, which feature on the screen of Nick. Later on, you see him sitting down at a computer, and there's a creature from Independence Day sitting on the lid of the screen. But anyway, yeah, Patrick Tatopoulos does fantastic creatures as long as you don't mind them all having fucking humongous jaws and little skimpy arms that kind of fold up underneath themselves. If you like that, then he's the man for you. If you don't believe me, look up the monster from the Vikings versus alien monster thing called Outlander. He designed that as well, which just looks like someone just got hold of Godzilla, broke its legs, and just put some neon paint all over it.
I'm Googling that right now.
Yeah, seriously. The creature from Outlander. I think it had a real weird name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Outlander creature. I think it had a name. I can't remember what it was called. The Moran. Yeah, if you see the not just the drawings, but look at the Moran actual picture and look at its face, and it's like, yeah, they just skinned Godzilla. There you go.
Gotcha.
In fact, if you go to Spin Effects, which is the company that made it, you can see better pictures of it. But it is just Godzilla, but with bigger arms. Anyway, so, I will go through a little bit of trivia because I'm not going through the production because I haven't got that long to live. The first, the film's first teaser trailer first appeared in theaters a full year before the film was released. The trailer contained a shot of Godzilla's foot coming through the roof of a museum and crushing a T-Rex skeleton, a reference to Jurassic Park. The scene was cut from the final version of the movie and cost $600,000 on its own. Halfway through the screening, Kenpachiro Satsuma, who played Godzilla from 1985 to 1995, walked out of the film saying, "It's not Godzilla, it doesn't have the spirit." The meter of the cab in the final chase sequence reads $95.20, which, based on the rates on the side of the cab, this equates to Godzilla chasing the cab for around 60 miles. This is all interesting trivia. I'm sure you'll all agree. 2,000 foam fish were made to create the fish pile, and Godzilla only has 11 minutes of actual screen time in a 2-hour movie. So
nothing changes there then.
Yeah, exactly. Dean Devlin aggressively defended the movie on internet message boards, which was a thing at the time. At times, telling Godzilla fans to hell with you if they had a negative opinion over the film. The official Godzilla message board was shut down soon thereafter due to heated arguments, and years later Dean Devlin admitted that recognising the movie's faults and apologised to fans in various movie interviews. The creature later appeared in Godzilla Final Wars and was killed by the real Godzilla.
Thrown into Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking brilliant.
And I think that was about it. Oh God, yeah. There's lots of things saying what it referenced, but I'm sure we can get to that because there's plenty of things it references.
Inverted commas.
In inverted commas, yes. And that's about yes. References. Anywho, right. Well, I'll tell you what. The 1998 Golden Raspberry Awards, the film was nominated for 5 Razzies, including Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and it took home 2 of them, mainly for Maria Patillo's Worst Supporting Actress and Worst Actress in a Remake or Sequel. Maria Patillo played the female love interest of Matthew Broderick and ambitious. Yeah, sorry,
Audrey. Her name was.
Was it?
Yeah.
And there you go. Learn something new every day. Because I didn't know that. I'd completely forgotten it. Which should give you an idea of precisely how I feel about this film. But anyway, so I get the feeling that Jim might have a few things to say about this. So what I might do is I go to you first, Elton.
Okay.
What did you think of this week's film, Godzilla?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a bit of history with this first, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I remember seeing that advert with the T-Rex and the Bigfoot coming down and destroying the T-Rex skeleton. And that sold me straight away. I was like, oh, because you're just used to Jurassic Park and the size of the T-Rex in there, and you thought, Jesus, that's big.
Yeah.
But then something comes along and stomps that. I think, whoa. And up until that point, I had seen one, I don't know how many it would have been really, but I'd seen a couple of the old Godzilla movies where the people dress up in the suits.
Yeah.
And I've quite enjoyed them. They were a bit of fun and realised they weren't too serious. They were a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but also they had a good heart towards them as well. And so I went to the cinema and saw this, so I am partially to blame for the colossal amount of money that they made, and thoroughly enjoyed every single minute of it. I really, really loved it. Up until the money shot for me, where Godzilla is jumping over the bridge and then getting caught up in the suspension cables, and thought, yeah, man, that looks wicked. And I could see its flaws, but I also liked the Jurassic Park influence as well, and realised it needed to go somewhere with what it was doing with the eggs. And I came out of the cinema really enjoying that. And I think a couple of months later, do you remember when VHSs, when they got the very first print of the VHSs, they were crazy money. I remember going to, where was it? Bexley Heath Shopping Centre, and they had a H&V up there.
Right.
And they had Godzilla up there for sale for £75
Jesus.
in the VHS. And you know what? I was tempted. I was really tempted.
What's wrong with you?
But I didn't. But man, oh man, I ummed and ahed about it because I enjoyed the movie and I wanted that movie so bad. So
right,
yeah, that could have been a major disappointment. Major faux pas, I would have thought. Okay, so this time round, well. All I can do is apologise to my younger self because this is so fucking bad. This is the rose tinted specs were clearly off watching this. Do you remember when we all sat down to watch Clash of the Titans and we're all going to go, oh, do you know what? I remember watching that as a kid and really, really enjoying that. And then 2 hours later, you sat there going, I hate the Black Dog.
Yeah, what the hell happened? Yeah,
that is not the movie I remember.
Yes,
and it kind of, I knew I was on a bit of a battering to nowhere with this one,
right?
But I was willing to give it its dues, see where it took me, and see if it would enjoy the ride again. Fucking hell. Okay, where do I start with this? Oh, I've even actually got notes. Broderick.
Yep.
Matthew fucking Broderick. Okay, I'm sure he's a really nice guy. He has no... He doesn't even deserve to be in this movie. It's just... He looks... always lost. He just looked out of place. His acting is just one of someone who's just woken up and is looking for their keys. That is it. Constantly. He looks bemused all the time. It's like on set, he had his set of keys and they're all fucking with him. If you think about this film as everyone on set is fucking with him about where his keys are, then you can understand where he's coming from. But no, he just doesn't sell me at all. He acts so badly in this. It's the where he has to repeat everything about 3 or 4 times, and then he has that little slant on his voice. He's like, what? Pregnant? What? Huh? It just looks... It's so hokey and so fake and so unnatural. And yet he's supposed to be the main guy that we all point our focus towards. And yet there's no redeeming qualities from him whatsoever, apart from that you want him to be eaten or trodden on. And it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. There's not even like a nice quirkiness about him that you can go, oh, do you know what? He's a bit of a softie, isn't he? No, he just doesn't belong there whatsoever.
He's a bit of a stalker as well.
A bit of a stalker. What, with the Godzilla or with the lady?
The lady. I mean, he hasn't seen her since college yet. Somehow he's got loads of photographs of her.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I can understand, holding a candle for someone, but this is getting the whole village to hold all the pitchforks at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just, there's something not quite right about it. Why don't you come up to my hotel and then my mother can meet you as well? And then all of a sudden Matthew Broderick comes out in a wig and you're like, fucking hell. No, thank you very much. Oh, okay. So.
Yes.
I'm going to get onto the Godzilla as well. I'm sorry if I'm treading on people's toes.
No, go for it.
Go for it. Go for it.
The Godzilla. I'm sure everyone thinks this, but I didn't realize how much Godzilla seemed to change size in this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's appalling.
Mm-hmm.
But worse, change mass as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the one that really stood out to me. I can get the size because you can do that from different perches of the actual camera as well. But mass, when you've got that amount of body and you weigh so much, going from lumbering and then sprinting and then swimming and then darting around swimming like a bloody dolphin, it's just, you can't move that amount of mass that quickly in that direction and dodge torpedoes. It just doesn't happen.
If I can just interject, the one that got me, and this explains everything about what you're talking about, I think, is the scenes in the tunnel. His arms have actually moved so it can crawl along. And you know why it moves like that in that scene? Because that is a complete steal from a scene in Disney's Dragon Slayer, and the dragon walks like that because it's got 2 legs and a pair of wings, and so it's on the ground, it moves like a bat. And the Godzilla in this movie, in the tunnels, is moving like that because they've just lifted that from Dragon Slayer. Right. Likewise, when he's swimming, I've not checked this because I mean watching the fucking film, but I'll guarantee the swimming actions are copied almost to the frame from the aliens swimming in Alien 4.
Yes.
And this film is full of bullshit like that. And that's why it changes size, mass, shape, and behaviour in every scene it's damn well in.
Yeah. I was thinking about Alien 4 as well, or Alien Resurrection, and it makes me think, do you know what? Alien Resurrection kind of got that bit right. And then this Godzilla didn't get this right whatsoever. It's just, even when when he's in the water and he's trying to scrabble and trying to build a new tunnel and trying to claw at the wall, and then the torpedoes get him. And you just think, your arms wouldn't be able to move through the water like that. There's just you're too dense to do that. It wouldn't work like that. And then all of a sudden falling and rotating, and you think, do you know what? It's just utter bobbins, isn't it? Oh man, it just, I found it frustrating. And then when you notice it, and when you start looking at it, and then you're judging it, and you're like, I can't not see it now. It's just a complete fuck up, which is really annoying because I don't mind the first 1 or 2 times where you see just the undercarriage of Godzilla, where you don't get the face shot and the actual big body. When you've got the guy who does all the voices on Simpsons,
Harry Shearer,
Hank Azaria.
No, Hank, yeah,
Hank Azaria, who plays Mo and Apu and Chief Wiggum.
Yeah, he plays Animal in this. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And when you're doing it from his eye line, and you can just about see the undercarriage of Godzilla, and I don't mind that. I don't mind the hanging arms. I don't mind the legs and the stance. But then all of a sudden I just don't think you get enough Godzilla from Godzilla. it's just there's kind of no point to it. I see the animals going there to nest, but it's not really a Godzilla movie. It's a monster movie where it's just trying to make a family, and now we're all destroying the family. It's just, the other film that did it better was Monsters, and this doesn't get it right at all.
Well, I mean that whole thing. I'm going to get into it now, but it's just, he just ripped off everything right down to fucking Gremlins 2.
Yeah,
with that fucking thing where they're all just waiting for the doors to open in the building, in the lobby.
Oh, the lift bit as well.
Anyway,
sorry, wrong floor, and they just look at him, and you're like, "Oh man, no." I can see where they're trying to do the slight comedy line, but it just doesn't really work. And old Leon in there as well, Jean Reno.
Yeah, what? No croissant?
What do you call this coffee?
Yeah. It is the French roast.
It's just terrible, isn't it? Yeah, he's so good at it.
Yeah.
He's trying to carry it. You can see him like, look, I've got this gig. I need to turn up to work. I'll do my best, but you ain't going to get much from me. It's raining outside. I'm not in the mood for it. I'll just do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But I feel that there's so many more. There's better monster movies to watch before you watch this. You got Monsters. I think Cloverfield did it miles better. I don't feel there was never really that wow factor from me this time round. And the CGI was utter shit as well.
Oh God!
We're years past Jurassic Park. It's taking the piss out of Jurassic Park and then doesn't do it right.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
No,
that's just wrong.
Piss poor. But there you go. That's it. I'm done. I don't need to do a review now. I can just sit back and let Jim go at it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm passing the baton on to Jim now.
Okay, Jim's got the talking pillow now.
Okie dokie. Now, I did see this at the cinemas, and it irked me that this wasn't the right Godzilla. But I did think it was entertaining.
Right.
However, as I've found often on this cast, in fact, when you go back to Roland Emmerich movies, they really don't age well, do they?
No, not at all.
They really, really do not age well. And but I went to this one thinking, right, I'm putting aside the fact it is not real Godzilla. I'm just going to watch this as a kaiju movie, as a monster on the loose film, and avoid that big hang up. And it starts sort of nicely enough, but as it goes on, it adds characters like Mo and his girlfriend, the mayor, far too many different generals, and none of these plot lines actually ever go anywhere. Now, I'd been a while since I'd seen it. I thought, well, yes, obviously, you've got a monster movie, you put lots of characters in so you can kill them off.
Yeah.
No, everyone lives to the end.
Yes.
And it's kind of, I was just ducking, flailing plot threads at the end just were flapping unresolved really badly. And the fact that the problem with it is, there is some almighty stupid shit in this.
Yep.
Now, which I will mention against my better judgment. One, okay, it is laying eggs. Right, okay.
Yep.
A thing that size does not lay 200 eggs. Not without rocking up like it's looking like a fucking space hopper initially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These eggs will not hatch, a day later? Come on.
Well,
and as for it going through the sewers, all right, I've seen a lot of bollocks happen in the New York sewers. According to Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, they flush them every midnight with toxic waste to clean them. I've seen some stupid shit. I've seen crocodiles in those sewers. I've seen chuds in those sewers. I've seen all kinds of stupid things, but I'm sorry, I can't accept a creature that size is just sneaking around in the sewers and hiding from everybody.
Yeah, nobody noticing.
And it's kind of, come on. However, those sort of things, I mean, all right, you say so. This is a Godzilla movie. They aren't high art. They're meant to be stupid. They are usually aimed at kids. But the fact is that I still, even, comparing it to the silliest of the Toho movies, and many of them are very silly indeed, this doesn't fly because this is done in the worst possible way. The problem is not that these plot twists are dumb, it's the plot that they're there to serve the film in the worst possible lazy script writing fashion.
Yeah.
Okay, we've shown you the monster. Maybe, we got him to the New York too quickly. Yeah. I know. He hides. Where? The sewers, of course. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like get to a certain point in the film and Roland Emmerich decides he was a bit bored with this Godzilla movie business. He wanted to remake Alien. So we have people with flashlights and lens flares and lots of eggs. But then he gets bored of that and he wants to do Jurassic Park instead. And then he remembers, oh, yeah, there's a giant monster. What should we do? Oh, just shoot it.
Yeah, we shot it. He died. The end.
And there's so many things that are stupid because, as I said earlier, it's stealing from other things. I mean, the whole route it takes without being seen anywhere by hitting a fishing boat. If you look on the map, it goes to the Panama Canal, for Christ's sake. But the reason it's in New York is, because Kong trashed New York. Yeah. But more importantly, another film this is stealing from something rotten, is the very first Ray Harryhausen feature from 1953, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yes.
And if you look at a picture of the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, you will see where this Godzilla design is pretty much ripped off from.
Yep, absolutely.
Beast from 20,000 Fathoms actually was ripped off by Toho to create Godzilla, but they took that idea and twisted it and reshaped it and made it something different. This picks bits up randomly. I mean, in Beast from 20,000, it comes from the Arctic Circle, and it swims down the coastline and ends up at New York because that's where its ancestors, or rather its original compadres, where it's frozen in ice for millions of years, lived. And they say they found the fossils there, so it goes back to its ancestral home. And that makes sense. In this movie, they go, well, it was in New York. We want Godzilla in New York. Why? It's an island, in it.
Because
it's the perfect environment for it. Really? Yeah. With no fish that it loves so much?
Yeah, so much that it swam halfway across the globe purely for fish.
That humans had to give it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they called in the army to fight it. They should have called it in bloody John West. But there's other rip-offs as well. In Beast from 20,000, the first thing the monster does is trash a fishing boat. There's a survivor gibbering about the monster.
Yep.
They have it comes up at the docks and scares the comedy dock workers. It gets shot. It leaves blood samples.
Yep.
How in Beast from 20,000 Fathoms has a far more interesting wrinkle is that when they analyse the blood, they find it's carrying prehistoric bacteria and a virulent form of plague. And if they shoot it with missiles, they'll infect everyone in New York. So they have to find the solution.
Yeah.
That's far better. And this is all in a film of like 79 minutes. Whereas this 2-hour abomination that goes on and on and on and just will not get to the point.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I mean, consider the way it walks. I mean, it's something always bugged me about it. And it's not that it's just an iguana trying to walk like a T-Rex, which is bad enough. It's the fact that he walks like a man who's just holding in a shit. And most of this film, the real problem with it, and why I couldn't enjoy it as a dumb monster movie, is that the monster doesn't get anything to do.
No.
It runs away. We see its arse more than we see its face, And apart from having a snap at the fishing boat and a snap at a couple of helicopters, the US Army destroy all the buildings.
Oh, God, yeah. Yep.
This creature does nothing. It is kind of, you just put a load of fish on a boat, you could leave that fucker anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could into a big zoo and have done.
Nice.
But it doesn't build up the creature as being sympathetic. He tries to build up to a threat which it doesn't deliver on. Then at the end, it tries to make us feel sorry for it, and it's just kind of, it's just falling between two stools here.
Yep. Yeah, it is utterly pointless in that regard, because the monster is effectively something that just turns up and disappears, and then everyone just blows shit up, and it's like, right?
Surely Godzilla, you need to root for Godzilla.
Well, either you root for him as an anti-hero because he's trashing famous landmarks and just running amok, which, that appeals to the anarchist and vandal in all of us.
Yeah.
Or he's fighting an even nastier monster. And he's kind of, he's Earth's defender, even though he doesn't really give a toss if he smashes everything in his way as well.
Yeah.
But, he's our monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas this, it was neither villain, nor hero, nor anti-hero. It was just, there. That big fucking lizard.
Which is probably what it should be called. That's what the whole film should have been called. That big fucking lizard. Coming to the cinemas soon. So did they get anything right in terms of actually getting a Godzilla creature feature thing done?
I said not really. I mean, the thing is, somebody says on the wiki, Roland Rick said, I want to do my own thing. And it's kind of, well, you're not the right man for this job, really, are you? Yeah. Because the theme, even in the silliest of Godzilla films, is a strong thing about nuclear power and radiation. And, Godzilla is this sea dragon that's an embodiment of the nuclear age. Yeah. It can be our destruction. It can be our defense against destruction. It's a double-edged sword, and it's immensely dangerous.
And uncontrollable.
Yeah, just to boil it down to a big dinosaur that likes some tuna, that's missing the point. Godzilla famously goes and trashes. The reason he keeps trashing cities, he's attracted by the nuclear power which he feeds on.
Yeah, this is more like a child looking for his presents at Christmas time.
It's just, I say, there's just nothing right with this. I tried to give these films a fair go. I really, I tried to give Orson a fair shake, but it just let me down at every turn and got progressively worse as it went on and on and on. And it's kind of, but halfway through, we're getting to the big end now. And, oh God, we've got another hour to go. I'd forgotten they wasted so much time with the egg hunt. And the baby Godzillas, and it's just kind of. The baby Godzilla is bad because once you introduce 200 of them, you've took the worst crime of aliens and multiplied it. Yeah. If you have one creature that's big, frightening, enigmatic, and scary, or at least should be, but then once you multiply it and make them disposable grunts that can be just mown down, blown up by the score, they lose all threat. Yeah. So an absolute shit show. In short.
There you go. That's the poster quote. An absolute shit show. There you go. Love it. Okay then. Well, I suppose for me, this is the first time I think ever that I've watched it all the way to the end properly. The first time in the cinema, I kind of phased out when the babies turned up, and the second time, I think I said this last week, I watched it on sort of VHS or was it DVD? I can't remember which one it was, but I sort of watched it and just kind of my eyes just slid off it, and I kind of again got about as far as the babies, but this time it was even worse. I forced myself all the way through it, and I don't know how best to describe it, but it's just I just sat there just ticking off the film references from the fucking 3 barrels being pulled underwater thing from Jaws being recreated with the boats, right up, including the fact that they pop back out, right up to the stupid targeting computer which seemed to suddenly be taken from a galaxy far, far away and put inside helicopters. It was just ridiculously boring and convoluted and trite, and the whole thing, as you said, as soon as I'm not going to call it Godzilla, but as soon as the dinosaur essentially vanishes, you're like, how? And there's literally no conceivable way that thing isn't going to vanish. And with so many people in New York, no one's got the wherewithal to go, hello, police. Yeah, there was a 500-foot lizard digging in my back garden. I mean, where could it have gone? It's just like, so straight away I'm just like, oh, give over. But then when you get this whole thing with the French Secret Service, which is a subplot, just doesn't need to happen. It just, I tell you what, we've got the Secret Service here. Why? Because they're covering up for Mura Atoll. Really? So nobody knew that the French were doing weapons testing? I mean, in fact, Matthew Broderick even brings up, he goes, yeah, the weapons test out in the French Polynesia. It's like, right, so why are they here again? Why are they being super secret? I mean, what was the point of them being super secret? What did they gain by being super secret in this situation? And then Patrick Totopoulos, or Nick Totopoulos, or whatever his name is, Matthew Broderick, basically, he just goes around and he just fills in blanks in the plot. So whenever they don't know what's going on, with little or no evidence whatsoever, he just suddenly just makes these huge leaps of logic and goes, fish, he's come here for the fish. It's like, right, so why didn't he go to the nearer port of, I don't know, Japan? Why didn't he sort of, from French Polynesia, why didn't he just go, I don't know, or head south and head for the shipping ports of, Australia? Or Tasmania, or did he completely sail past Thailand and all these kind of countries, which, let's be honest, predominantly their food supply is fish, but it decided to go to New York. Why? Fuck knows why. Just did. It just did, and no one on earth sees this thing when it's leaving footprints. And speaking of the footprints, and this is how bored I was, those footprints, the ones that he was physically standing in, that Matthew Broderick was physically standing in on that island, those were clearly just dug out by someone using a shovel. Because when you suddenly saw the ones from the air, they had dents showing the feet, the footprint dents. But you're sort of when you see him standing in it, it's like someone's just made a foot-shaped sand pit and stuck him in it.
What's more, it doesn't actually match Godzilla's feet.
No.
He was stood in the cartoon footprint of a giant duck.
And the thing is, once Patrick Totopoulos turns up, Nick Totopoulos, sorry, turns up, he turns up, and they're all going, oh, you're the worm guy, aren't you? You're the worm guy. You know all this stuff. You're the worm guy. It's like, once the creatures turned up and rampaged around a bit, and everyone's seen it, at what point does the worm guy stop being valid as a person to even talk to? And why would you have things like, top secret information? That fucking top secret tape, right? That summed up the film for me, that top secret tape, because that top secret tape with the Zippo lighter waving in front of the guy's eyes, with the guy going, Gojira, yeah? Right? Where was the camera filming that scene?
Exactly.
Because that camera would have had to be sitting on Jean Reno's nose when he and his super secret team was sitting beside that guy trying to get information out of him. And you get Jean Reno's point of view, which is now magically turned up as an American surveillance footage clue. Huh? I mean, everything about this film is dumb. It's dumb and stupid and insults me on every conceivable level. The visual effects were fuck awful. The whole bit with sort of like Godzilla doing this kind of Wile E. Coyote Bugs Bunny thing round the buildings. And literally, as he's going around the buildings, he's being chased by the helicopters. Suddenly, the helicopter goes round the corner, can't find him, and suddenly it comes through a wall, slaps one out of the air. Then they go chasing after it again, and they go, where is it? And it jumps up from underneath them. They've literally flown over it. It's like...
It's the way that Godzilla chases the helicopter from left to right, and you think, well, hang on. There's one way this helicopter can get out of this situation, and that's going up.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I'm just going to go in between the buildings. I'll turn left, I'll turn right there, and I'll be able to lose him. And come on, man. It's silly logic like that. It makes the military look anything but military. They're not very clinical in this, and that's one thing that really bugs me about it. It's all very watered down, all very wet. The mayor, he's just there. He's just a character to hate. But then you kind of hate the military because they're so lackluster.
I didn't like anyone in it. I didn't like a single person in it. And normally you're supposed to sort of feel for the star-crossed lovers, the sort of like, but then you find out that she basically dumped him because she wanted to go off and find her fortune. And then when she does get the chance to come back and make amends, she nicks this top secret tape with top secret in hairy pen written along the side like a fucking Betamax case. It's just like, really? Okay, so the army couldn't even get as far as a Dymo machine, right? Okay, fine. And it's just like, oh, do me a favour. She sort of loses all credibility, in terms of being the audience sympathy target. She turns up, she fucks him over once because we've been told she has, and then she fucks him over again when she first meets him. It's like, right, okay, great.
I don't have a problem with her fucking him over because she's kind of been pushed into that situation by accidentally nicking the badge, the Harry Shearer's badge. And then all of a sudden it's, okay, well, then if I want to be a reporter, then I need to kind of follow this line. I've already got the badge, so I'm already in there. So now I need to do what a reporter does. So I've got no problem in her turning up, saying the things, and then turning into a reporter for 5 minutes and going, oh, look, a top secret tape. I need to take that.
Yeah, after he walks out the door. And after saying, oh, wouldn't things have been different and all this kind of thing, and then you get all the David Arnold default love theme 137A, and then it's just like playing over the fucking soundtrack, and then it's like suddenly, he walks out the door and says, I'll be right back, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, there's the tape with top secret written on it. I'll just nick that. It's like, what? All the secrets like kept in a fucking plastic bag with Tesco's written on it and the big hairy pen on the outside saying fucking top secret.
He also had a chance to rip off Die Hard as well when Harry Shearer turns up and says, oh yeah, we got the scoop, and she should have punched him in the face, and then that would have been it. Yeah, okay, right, you got a Die Hard reference there as well. Something that Jim just said earlier on, when you turned around and said nobody dies in this. Now, really, Harry Shearer's, he should have died either at the very end or in the first act.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he would have naturally died. And I think if he remade this film again, that's where he would have died. And then maybe the mayor would have copped it as well towards the end of the second act or in the third act as well. But yeah, I didn't really notice it until you just said it. You're like, yeah, none of our characters really die, and that's what you'd expect from that carnage.
Well, except for the eggs in Madison Square Gardens. And can we just talk about that for just 1 second? Because
yes.
Because apart from the aliens reference at that point, there's one other thing that really bothers me with that. It's like, so if you see where all those eggs are, they're all in the play field, aren't they? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that kind of implies that that Godzilla must have been copping a squat right in the middle there. Yeah?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then how did it get in to that bit when you don't see any sort of major hole into the main playing field? They climb up through a hole into the bit underneath, and then they go upstairs, and then they see the playing field. How did Godzilla get through the standard-sized, human-sized doors to cop a squat for 200 eggs?
I think there's only one answer to this, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm wondering. I was wondering who was going to say it, but you may have the honour.
Yeah, I can have a go. Yeah,
Go for it.
Okay. Well, I have a book here. Hang on, let me turn to the first page.
Chapter 1, page 1. Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I don't have to go down far on the first page. It's on the first line. It says, hang on, let me put my glasses on. Shut up, that's why.
Excellent. I just thought, I was wondering that because not only that, but the super secret surprise, we didn't get all the other monsters, we didn't get all the babies at the very last bit before the credits roll, also results in the sudden discovery of the fact that somehow Godzilla must have also shat out an egg through some double doors into a cloakroom. Again,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah, I was thinking this. I was thinking, yeah, this is the Alien 3 argument all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, where did these things come from? How did these things get there? And in fact, given that they were all pooed out by a 500-foot thunder lizard, how on earth did it manage to get in there and not be noticed? Do they not have janitors? Do they not have groundskeepers keeping this thing alive? Do they not have events?
Isn't there a tube station there, and the trains run through there, and nobody's noticed that the train hasn't come back yet?
Yep.
Maybe we thought the Warriors were kicking off again.
Nice. So that's one thing. Second thing, also, is the fact that they didn't have the balls to have Godzilla actually breathe fire. So they had to keep convolutedly coming up with stupid reasons for fire to be looking like it's coming out of its mouth. They did it twice in terms of like it roaring. You see the spit flying everywhere, and then like a car would just lift off the ground and explode, but be viewed from the front, so the flames coming out are actually the car. And it's like, dude, the one thing that Godzilla does that everyone knows, and you've actually removed that. You've made it into an exploding car. What's Godzilla have to do? Like eat a couple of Buicks before he goes out in the morning? What is that? Oh, it's just fucking nonsense. And every member of the cast was completely either wasted or looked like they were wasted. I mean, the Harry Shearer's sex pest fucking thing, everything was just either icky or wrong, and the one bit that jarred me on a purely professional level was those goddamn fucking Godzilla babies, because 1 minute they're like fucking Madame Tussauds puppets being wobbled about on a single stick. You know, the head's kind of lolling about with a big floppy head on a fucking stick. Or
I made some notes and it said world's biggest Pez dispenser.
yeah, exactly, Pez dispensers. or there's a scene when they walk through all the eggs, and all you can see is tails up in the air, and it's clear that basically those tails are on sticks, and there's a bloke just wobbling them half-heartedly. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they run away, the tails go down, and a CGI thing that moves like a velociraptor on grease just kind of flies around the corner. It's like, you genuinely thought that thing looked like the thing that was just there in front of you? I mean, I'm not one for sitting there going practical works and you shouldn't have CGI. I'm not one of those purists. But when you see the difference between the two, you go, oh, come on, pick a fucking lane and stick to it, because it looks ridiculous. It looks really shit. And as for the design of Godzilla itself, just fuck off with your big chin dragon, this big Robert Zidar chin. I mean, just
with the design, there are some shots where I don't mind. There are some shots where I'm just like, do you know what? It kind of works, but then the rest of the time, it doesn't work at all. I don't mind the big chin, but I think there's other characteristics of the monster itself. It just seems that the legs don't seem too fat, I suppose. I don't know. So I don't like the design of the new one, really.
Really?
Yeah, okay. But I think that's just a personal thing. But you look back on the old ones, and that's more reminiscent of what you had compared to what we've just watched. But I suppose that
I've seen there's a Stan Winston design they did in the early development of this thing that Emmerich binned.
Oh, no? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's on the wiki.
Is it?
Yeah. I will put it in the chat, and it looks amazing.
Okay.
Does it? Okay.
Well done. Yeah, I'm looking at it. There you go. Halfway between the two. Again, Stan the man, but as ever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's because it probably looks like Godzilla. They probably dumped it because fuck knows what that thing was. Because the drawing that Totopoulos did, which is also on the wiki, is I don't know what it is. It's like someone started it's like one of those fucking was it Boris Bellagio kind of poses?
That is Godzilla walking through a city, and you're like, well, yeah. What does Godzilla do? It walks through cities.
Yes.
So that that doesn't work. But maybe he's not gone with this design because he wanted it running. And I think watching this thing run, that wouldn't work at all.
No, it would have waddled. There's no two ways about it. It was definitely it's a waddling Zilla rather than a running Zilla. But for what aim? What's the point of having that run? I mean, it runs away and it runs so goddamn fast, and it can be felt from miles away. And it's like that's probably the only thing that Cloverfield probably got right, which was the whole. Oh, right, okay, we got no way of finding this thing. We got no way of stopping it. Everyone out in New York? Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the end of that. But, oh man, God, when it goes trundling off down one of the main roads, and you're looking in the helicopter, and he goes, on my 6, stay on target, and you're like, oh, so this is the Star Wars bit, is it? Right. Okay. Yeah, it's just fuck off. I mean, I just felt myself sighing and saying fuck off a lot, really. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's a quote for the poster. Right.
That's one of the things I thought it's like on the design of Godzilla, it's like someone says, right, we're going to remake King Kong.
Yeah.
And they design him as a giant spider monkey. Why would you even think to do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of no characters can be reinterpreted. Sherlock Holmes doesn't always have to look like Basil Rathbone wearing a deerstalker.
Yeah.
But there are certain things you can't change about some characters. They're set in stone because that's what they are. And Godzilla, the design of Godzilla, that is a Godzilla is a Godzilla.
Yeah.
There are different, and over the years, indeed, there have been many different designs on that template.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of someone going, well, screw that. I know. Oh, no, I don't actually. Oh, that'll do. And I can only think we see him running away so often is because someone thought, you know what, this is a fucking terrible idea. Have it hide.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, God. Well, yeah. I mean, I tell you what, I'm not normally one for pulling up old quotes, for this film, but because we sort of try to avoid doing all the reception and whatnot. But there are a few choice reviews, I have to say. This one's a great one. In Howard Hawks' The Thing, there's a great scene where scientists in the Arctic spread out to trace outlines of something mysterious that's buried in the ice, and the camera slowly pulls back to reveal that it's circular. It's a saucer. In Godzilla, a worm expert is standing in a deep depression, and the camera pulls back, revealing that he's standing in a footprint, which he would have already known. It's like, yeah, there you go. The script isn't just dumbed down, it's lobotomized. Yeah, there's lots of decent reviews like that. But can we just, because obviously it's Matthew Broderick mini series, but can we now finally admit what with this Lady Hawk and War Games, that he's bloody useless as an actor? Can we just admit that now?
Oh, definitely. I think it was appalling in this. He didn't even have that sort of cheeky sparkle that his younger films trade on. In this, as Elton said, he just repeats what other people have said like a parrot.
Yeah.
But he does it, as you said, like a man who's looking for his keys. But I go further. It's in the tone of voice of a man who's looking for his car keys to go to work to a job he hates, so he doesn't really want to find them.
Nice.
Oh no, where are my keys?
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get to the feedback on the Facebook group or some of the comments on the Facebook group, let me just read you one last review from Rita Kempley of the Washington Post, who wrote, I love this, and this kind of sums up, because the whole thing on the poster was size matters, and she wrote about it. Size vanishes both in substance and subtlety in the overhyped bullshit and humorless resurrection of dear old Godzilla. It might as well be called Iguana Gonna Get You, Sucker. Iguana get you, sucker. That's it. Iguana get you, sucker. Yeah, I love it. So there you go.
Before we go on to Facebook feedback, etc.
Yeah.
If someone came up to you two and said, "Oh, I've heard about the '98 Godzilla.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it." What would you turn around and say? Whoa! Don't watch that. Watch this. What would your big monster movie be?
Oh, mine. I'm not as well versed in the old Godzilla verse, so I would probably go for something quite modern. I'd probably go for something like Kong Skull Island, which I thought was really good in terms of big monsters. But also, I would go for Pacific Rim, which is big, dumb, silly, big monsters. Except the humans have also got big, dumb, silly, big monsters and hit them over the head with oil tankers.
And they have mass as well.
And everything moves with proper mass, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jim?
I'm trying to think of something sort of roughly contemporary with this Godzilla. I think I'd go for Pacific Rim, even though that's quite a few years on. But for modern day, I think that's the high watermark of giant monster movies. And that really does have the spirit of the old Godzilla films, even down to wacky comedy characters, mad science, ridiculous bombast. It really does sort of channels the best of the old Godzilla movies in the various eras. I mean, if you go back to classics, I mean, the original Godzilla is still a very fine film, and particularly the original Japanese cut still is quite. You really get that Godzilla as a symbol of nuclear destruction and the panic. It's and grainy black and white as well does actually add something to it. But equally, on the other hand, a classic like, say, Destroy All Monsters is absolutely hilarious. Or Godzilla Final Wars, which is kind of put every monster we've ever made. Because that was the film they made to retire the Godzilla franchise.
Right.
For a while. So there's going to be the last one for a while. And so they just went off with an all-out insane film where they put in every monster they could think of.
Yeah. And they also killed Godzilla, the old one.
Yep, they battered Gino into the Sydney Opera House.
Exactly. So what about you, Elton? What would you pick?
Well, I wasn't a fan of Pacific Rim. I didn't really get along with that. But I think I'd have to go with Cloverfield for my recommendation.
Yeah, the problem I had with Cloverfield is pretty much the problem I had with the Gareth Edwards Godzilla, the 2014 one, which is whenever the monster appears, the instinct of the person holding the camera is to look away, and it's like, really?
But I think the tone of that movie is not, oh, let's all look at a monster. It's shit is going down and people are panicking. How do we get out of this and away from this unstoppable force that nobody can stop at all?
Which is fine. I mean, maybe we'll do the film and we'll talk about it in a bit more detail next time. But for me, I always come back to that one key scene where Clover, the creature, comes round the corner from Grand Central Station, and it's actually standing right there in front of the four characters. Mm-hmm. Three of them run across the road. The guy with the camera is on the opposite side of the road. Then, to their right, 3 tanks and a whole battalion of sniper-armed guards all turn up in the street and start shooting at it. And the guy on the opposite side of the road, who happens to have the camera, points the camera at the people he's looking at, mouthing the words, "What do we do?"
Instead of watching the intense battle that is just to your left.
Yeah, well, there's the intense battle to your right with the army, and to the left is a 500-foot high sea monster. It's, and, even if you are talking to someone, I think you can still leave the camera on the bonnet of the car you're hiding behind. You don't have to point the camera where you are looking. That's the whole point of having a camera with a handle on it. You can kind of point it where you fucking like. But instead, he looks at a bunch of people who are trying to understand what he's miming as he says, "What are we going to do?"
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off is what you're going to do, and stick that camera fucking gig up your arse. But anyway, never mind. Yes. And then the fucking thing at the end eats twat with the fucking camera. You get to see it, the camera falls down, and you don't get to see anything. So it cuts to 2 other people, 2 other heroes, with their own phone cameras talking to it. So suddenly it's like, well, why didn't we have the footage from everyone else's phone cameras? Why didn't you use that in the rest of the film? You know why? Because it would have cost too bloody much. I hate that film. I really do. Anyway, going on to the Facebook group. There wasn't an awful lot of comments. There was a discussion underneath the banner, such as Sean McGowan saying it's the best Godzilla if you don't count every other Godzilla. Hunter Langley saying a movie so bad that it was easily surpassed by its Saturday morning cartoon sequel.
Nice.
Sean Gleason saying I like bad movies, but even I have my limits. Pete McGlasham says it's Clifford the Big Red Dog. Fred Lubnell puts a Godzilla facepalm meme up saying when Godzilla gives you a facepalm, you know your fail is epic. Gareth Lloyd says it's a poor mix of better films, so bland you wish that Godzuki would turn up. Whereas Jack Woodgate goes, I think one of the reasons this film misses the mark and why the monster itself is rather toothless is that at the time the US didn't have a cataclysmic event the monster was not analogous to. The original Godzilla had the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki made flesh. King Kong was born out of the Great Depression. Even Cloverfield is a parallel of the 9/11 attacks. However, Godzilla 1998 was about America's mild concern about French testing nuclear bombs in the Pacific. Mike Martin responds going, French nukes give Godzilla the power to change size from scene to scene, though, so there is that. Fred Lubnell does come in again saying, forgot how completely silly this film was. Last night was the first time I'd watched it since going to see it in 1998. And Alan Wilby says this film steals ideas from Jurassic Park in every cliche and trope in the book, and Godzilla is not Godzilla but an oversized T-Rex. Having said that, I did enjoy this silly romp of a film. And Ollie Peters, awesome soundtrack.
Oh.
Really?
No, it's not. No, it's not. You're
two
wrong.
Jamiroquai films, no thanks. Two Jamiroquai soundtracks, isn't it? Oh, Rob Lamont, sorry, I missed him as well. He said, Godzilla feedback. When I was a kid, I liked it, but as an adult, you realise how stupid it is and how much it steals. It steals the Velociraptor scene from Jurassic Park wholesale. But what I do like is that the actual Godzilla people hated it so much they made it canon, called it Zilla, and made it everyone's bitch in their movies. Godzilla Wars, I think, and it gets taken down in about 5 seconds. So yeah, there you go. Rob also then later puts a link up on the Facebook group. And finally, we have Chicago entertainer Sven Gulli vented his problems with this movie in a song, which we will have as the end credits. That's from Ricky Joya, who left a feedback. So we'll have that Sven Gulli end credits. This movie isn't Japanese. I think I know where this is going. So there you go. That's that. Godzilla, utter shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm very disappointed in you, Godzilla. Very disappointed.
Nice. Yeah, well, I think everyone's just disappointed in Godzilla. Very much so. Especially considering you see a trailer like King of Monsters, just literally like this week, and you go, how did they get from that big chin and abomination to that? Where, how? What was that connective tissue? But, anyway. So, so it's time to wrap it up. Before we go, it's time to tell you what our next film will be. We will not be around next week, which is, I think, the 31st of July. We will actually be back on Wednesday the 8th of August, because Tuesday the 7th is my birthday. And there is no way I'm doing this on my birthday. But when we do it on the Wednesday the 8th, or thereabouts, the time might change, because I've literally just sprung that on Jim and Elton, as you can tell by the stony silence.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, that's cool. So Wednesday the 8th, when we come back, we'll be doing our Patreon movie as picked by Sarah Lazelle, Lucky Minty. Now, I didn't put this on the the Files list, but it is on Netflix. It is a comedy starring Richard Pryor and John Candy.
Oh.
It is Brewster's Millions.
Oh, wow. Not seen that in years.
Well, there you go. There you go. There you go, Sarah. That's a genuine reaction to it because they didn't know. Nobody knew. It was only me. I didn't put it on the file docket. So there you go. So when we come back, yes, we will be doing Brewster's Millions on the 8th of August. So there you go. How do you remember? Well, okay. What's your thoughts about seeing this again, Jim?
I'm looking forward to it. I've not seen it in a long time. I have very fond memories of renting both Richard Pryor and John Candy movies back in the day. I still have a fondness for films like Uncle Buck and The Toy.
Oh God, yeah. And
not been back to me in a long time, so looking forward to it.
And Stir Crazy as well.
Yeah, Stir Crazy.
Oh, I remember Stir Crazy. If we can find that, I'll put that on the list because that's going to be one that doesn't stand up or does stand up based on time. What about you, Elton?
It's been years since I've watched this. I don't know if I've seen it all the way through, but I know the gist of it. I've been around friends when they've watched it as well. So I'm not saying that this is the first time because I know I've seen most of it, but yeah, it's been years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Cool. Okay. Well, I last time I see it, I think I actually saw it when it first came out on I think it was Betamax. I mean, when was that? 85. Might have been the last film I watched on Betamax before we went to VHS. Rather worryingly, though, just quickly Googling it, Brewster's Millions holds a Rotten Tomatoes score of 36%. So, not entirely sure it might have aged particularly well, but we'll see. We shall see. I don't know if I do think Darren's seen this, so this will be interesting. It'll be an interesting film to watch. Okay, so before we go, it's now just time to wrap up one last thing. Oh yeah, it's Darren's Gallery. Because, as you know, Mr. Barnard isn't here today. He's off sunning himself in some Spanish clime. So, Jim and myself and Elton set ourselves a challenge at the beginning of the podcast to do pictures of Darren. Now, I'm going to describe the pictures, and then I will be putting them up on the Facebook group tomorrow or after the publication. And it's your choice, your little game, to work out who drew what. So the first picture looks like early man decided to join the mafia. He's smiling. He's got a full head of hair, a little bit of a Mari biscuit going on. Sort of like the crown's coming back and the eyebrows are there and the mouth is hanging slackly open, which is something that goes between all three of them, I'll say. So yes, we have that, and the nose. The nose is the most dominating feature I notice in this first image, and the haggard eyes that show all sorts of things that just show a life hard lived. But then we move on to the second image. The second image, well, it's hard to describe. It looks like Bruce Willis. The cadaver of Bruce Willis has been dug up 7,000 years later and was found inside a black sarcophagus. There's a microphone. It's just there. It's right in front of him. He's happy. You can tell he's happy. Between the very thinly pulled skin and the tiny bits of hair and the very wide mouth and hairy neck. Yes, this is definitely, yes, he's got... What he does share with the others, though, is he does share this sort of haggard eyes and rather sort of tired look and a massive nose. Absolutely massive nose. But anyway, oh God, the music stopped. We can't have the music stop. We haven't got down to number 3. Come on, let's have the music again, shall we? Yes, I think we shall have the music again. Let's press that button and get the music running. Thank you. So we move on to the third image. The third image is on some lined paper. In that, and it has a stickle brick in the hand, which looks vaguely like a very hairy candy bar. It's like he's dropped something on the floor and decided, and the look on his face is a quizzical expression like, do I still eat this even though it clearly has dog hairs on it? But we know it's Darren. He will. He absolutely will. Again, sharing the same kind of thing with the other 2 images. The hooded eyes and sort of listless look off into the distance show a level of ennui and sort of haggard expression in a life poorly lived. So who did these pictures? Was it Jim? Was it Lee? Or was it Elton? We shall put them up on the Facebook group for you all to see once this episode goes live, and you can all take a guess and leave your messages. And the best one will replace Darren. We will stick it on a stick. We'll put the picture on a stick and we'll stick it in a corner, and it'll be Darren. It'll be our Darren for when he's on holiday. It'll be holiday Darren. So, is it the Neanderthal man? Is it Neanderthal gangster? Is it desiccated husk of Bruce Willis from 7,000 years in the future? Or is it the man who's considering eating a hairy chocolate bar? The votes are up to you. Go to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/The Black Dog Podcast. And with that, I think we just wrap it all up and say thank you to everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Elton. Thank you, Pretend Darren, whichever one of you 3 it will be. Until next time, take care. Thank you very much. And good night.
What happened to the guy in the rubber suit?
And the badly dubbed-in voices?
Well, I told you, Doug, this is the American version, not one of the old films from Japan's Toho Studios. I'll explain it. I saw this picture, and I predict you're not liking this new modern version as well. As the director, who's the protector of the original lizard we love well. Although he's burning up and knocking down and coming up and stepping down, this isn't Japanese. This movie isn't Japanese. It's not from Toho. It's not Japanese. It's an American release that stars this yo-yo. I would beg you please, Godzilla should be Japanese if things were equal. Everybody sees this movie isn't Japanese. There'll be no sequel. No chance. Did they just wanna have an iguana whose flaming breath is like a barbecued cough? That's my aversion to this new version of a New York Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They've got him coming in and chowing down and looking up and locking down, but it's not Japanese. Godzilla isn't Japanese. He's more Jurassic. Got him on their knees, but this film isn't Japanese. He's blocking traffic. Though there was a tease, this movie isn't Japanese, not even Asian. Everyone agrees this movie isn't Japanese, it's all Caucasian. No grins, no fins, no dubbed-in voices, no rubber suits, and where are all the toy tanks? Everyone's a bit actor, you always glimpse them. Half the people in this have worked on The Simpsons. Excellent. But this film isn't Japanese. Godzilla fans, you can't appease with an iguana. Turn 90 degrees and give us something Japanese, but you don't wanna. Zilla's Japanese, and if not, why do you pay the fees to them at Toho? Everybody sees Godzilla's always Japanese, no gecko you throw.
Dude, no way.
Okay, let's take a random poll. How did you like my song?
Very good. Wonderful.
It's terrific.
Oh, bollocks to it.